Good afternoon. I'm Darin Labrenz, President and CEO of Pure Gold Mining, and I am here to talk about the Madsen Red Lake Gold Mine in the iconic mining camp of Red Lake. You wonder what you can do in 10 minutes, so what we did is something brand new. We've kind of built a bit of a storyboard here, and you're not going to see a lot of text on here. It's going to be pictures, and I was going to talk about the history of the Red Lake Mine, and importantly, talk about the future of the Madsen Red Lake Mine. Now, unfortunately, when the slides have a mind of their own and it becomes a demon presentation, it probably sounds like stream of consciousness. And so hopefully we do a little bit better here. And I'm encouraged and I'm talking to make sure this thing doesn't start moving on its own again. And so far I look pretty good. I'll make some forward-looking statements here, just to be clear. And so what I want to say is 2.6 million ounces of historical production, 2.1 million ounces of an indicated resource, 500,000 ounces of inferred resources. Clearly, this is a large mineral endowment, and it's growing. We can use many terms in our industry to describe quality, and we do. We talk about generational, top tier, first in class, world class, but there's really no clear standard. So what I hope to do as we walk through this presentation today is explain to you why I think the Madsen Red Lake Mine is a top tier asset. So let's talk about the team. Our team has deep knowledge in Red Lake. It's a neighborhood that we know well. The Campbell Red Lake Mine was my first underground mine. I mapped it. I explored it. I mined it. I led a team of geologists as chief geologist of that operation. Phil, Chris, several members of our board, Mark, Troy, Rob, they all have significant experience in the district. It's in our DNA. So which mine really led the blueprint for exploration discovery in Red Lake? Is this one that's behind me. Madsen was the first significant mine in the Red Lake camp. The mine produced continuously for 36 years. It paid 13% of its profits out as a dividend to shareholders over that period. To date, Madsen is the second largest historical producer. But here's another fact. The Madsen Red Lake Mine was a primer for the identification and discovery of deposits in the Red Lake camp. All the geological features that are used to map, define a target of large deposits were developed at Madsen. And these have been used to guide nearly 30 million ounces of gold that have come out of the Red Lake camp. The Madsen Red Lake deposit is a multi-generational asset. It is quite simply the heart and soul of Red Lake. So what exactly does it take to be on Main Street in Red Lake? Well, this is Red Lake, and we see the major deposits on either side of a granitic intrusion in the center of the slide. It effectively is a mirrored geological system. Our project and our ore body is in the heart of Red Lake, both physically and geologically. We aren't focused on the fringes of the belt. We're not trying to make some hungry granitic intrusion work. We're in the right rocks with the right structure, the right timing, the right deformation. We are in Main Street. We're right where we want to be. And we own Madsen Red Lake, 100%, 47 square kilometers of patented land. Geologically, in almost every respect, the Madsen deposit is identical to the Campbell Red Lake deposits. Again, we're looking at a mirror effect here on the screen. On the left side, we have the Madsen complex. On the right side, we have the Red Lake complex at the same scale. We can trace our deposit over 5 kilometers of strike length. It is in the same rocks, again, the same alteration, the same timing, controlled by the same D2 structures. Heck, Madsen even has its own version of the high-grade zone. We call it the 8 zone, and it's very much open for expansion. So let's go back to quality. How do we measure it? Well, it really comes down to scarcity. Some people talk about a 5 million ounce deposit as being quality deposit. Well, again, 2.6 million ounces of historical production, 2.1 million ounces of indicated resources, 500,000 ounces of inferred. I'd say we're there. Some talk about NPV and say $250 million. Well, that's a quality deposit. We just put out a feasibility study. It shows an after-tax NPV of $247 million. In addition, we put our new discoveries into a preliminary economic assessment, and that shows a $51 million after-tax NPV. So I'd say we met that one. A quality, world-class deposit has a large impact on investors and society. Well, Madsen Red Lake Mine produced continuously for 36 years. Our feasibility study outlines 12 years of production. 48 years, I'd say that's a large impact on society. To investors, it might be defined as a project or a deposit that pays out a lot of money. Again, I talk about the 13% dividend produced over that 36-year period. My point is, no matter what, no matter how you look at it, no matter what lens you use, Madsen Red Lake deposit meets the definition of top tier. Gold deposits of over 5 million ounces are exceedingly rare. We have one of a select few here. So how much drilling underpins our understanding? Well, 1.2 million meters of drilling. So let's think about that for a moment. If we took all the core that was drilled and we lined it up from here, it would go to Montreal and back. Or another way of putting it, if we started right in this room, we would get just to the border of the Madsen Red Lake deposit itself. Our average spacing in the indicated resource is 6.5 meters between holes. That's what's informed our reserve. We've defined the system across 5 kilometers. We have expansive gaps across that 5 kilometers. There is a big opportunity for additional resource definition drilling and growth on the Madsen Red Lake project. The 8th zone is our high-grade zone. It contains approximately 300,000 ounces at a grade of 20.5 grams per ton in the indicated category, more than twice the grade of the average mineral resource. It was discovered prior to the discovery of the high-grade zone at the Red Lake mine. The high-grade zone at the Red Lake mine transformed that deposit, establishing it as one of the lowest cost producers in the world. Our 8th zone is an important part of our feasibility mine plan. Importantly, a further 80,000 ounces in the inferred category at 12.4 grams per ton gold provides an opportunity for additional drilling and potential conversion. Additionally, the 8th zone is open. Due to the high-grade nature of this zone, any additional ounces would be and could be highly accretive to a mine plan. Our feasibility study shows that we built a strong foundation for our phased development plan, with peak production of 125,000 ounces per year and 5 years that average 102,000 ounces, a 13-month pre-production schedule, and a probable mineral reserve of 1 million ounces at 9 grams per ton. Our pre-tax net present value is estimated at $353 million, and our after-tax net present value at $247 million. Pre-tax cash flow totals $537 million over the life of mine. The internal rate of return is 43% pre-tax and 36% after-tax, reflecting the high-grade nature of the deposit. The Madsen Red Lake project benefits greatly from its location, existing infrastructure, and significant permits, resulting in a short 13-month pre-production schedule. With $95 million, or $71 million US, of pre-production capital spending, including an $8 million contingency, the project remains very capital efficient. Given the higher grade nature of the resource, the operating costs on a per ounce basis reflect well to peers. Total cash costs over the life of mine average US $607 per ounce. All-in sustaining costs, $787 per ounce. If we assume an April start, we're producing gold by May 2020. Minimizing adverse impacts and operating in a responsible manner are key value drivers for Pure Gold. From day one, we have advanced a policy of progressive reclamation. We've built this into a new mine with pride. Our new mine is being designed and will be mined for closure. So we have the exact geological structure, the right rocks. We're on Main Street and Red Lake. The Madsen Red Lake deposit, a brownfield site with proven mineability, and now a brand new top-tier mine. We have extensive infrastructure in place, including a headframe, underground access via ramp and shaft, power, buildings, road, highway access. Our current mineral resource spans 5 kilometers and runs as deep as 1,300 meters below the headframe. It's open at depth and along strike. Already a multi-million ounce deposit. It's growing. This long section shows our Madsen Red Lake deposit on the top. It also shows the Red Lake mine at the bottom. The similarities, again, are striking. The only real difference is the Red Lake mine has been mined down to 2.5 kilometer depth. Historically, Madsen Red Lake mine was only mined down to 1.2 kilometers depth. But we've hit it below that. Note the pronounced plunge at Madsen to the right. We drilled a hole 1,350 meters below surface, returned 34.6 grams per ton over 4.3 meters. There's a hole that intersected the Madsen deposit at 2.1 kilometers vertical, returning 14.3 grams per ton over 2 meters. Importantly, we take that core out, we lay it out on the ground, and it looks identical to what we just mined in our test mining program, 150 meters below surface. The deposit is open, very much a strong, deep-rooted system, remaining open in all direction. So our feasibility study laid out a foundation outlining a robust, low capital intensity 12-year mine. The PEA on our discoveries provides the blueprint to growth, with potential impacts on both mine life and the production profile. Madsen Red Lake is a generational asset, with 2.6 million ounces of historical production, 2.1 million ounces of indicated resources, and 0.5 million ounces of inferred resources, and 1 million ounces at 9 grams per ton in probable reserves. It is a key player in the history of the Red Lake camp, but we believe it's an even bigger part of the future. I'm Darin Labrenz, we are Pure Gold Mining, and we are Red Lake. Thank you very much.